everyone, I'm Allie Buchman with the Potomac Bead Company, and I'm going to do a bracelet today for you called the Dragon Eye Bracelet. The Dragon Eye Bracelet is going to feature some RounDuo beads, which I haven't worked with in a while. If you're unfamiliar with them, they are a bead that we produce, and they're actually a 2-hole bead. Some Montees, some 2-hole bricks, and also some seed beads. If you need any of the materials to produce this Dragon Eye bracelet, you can go to the left-hand side here. We'll do a little drop down so that way you can check out all the materials, get a list, and see if you need to get any of them to purchase online or to go to the local Potomac Bead Company store as well. For the bracelet that we'll be doing, we are using the Monte beads. The Monte size that I'll be using is an SS20 in the Monte. And the color I've chosen to use in my example, which I'm going to do in some dark and light blues, is the SS20 in the aqua color. You're going to use approximately 6 to 7 depending on the size of your wrist. You may use 5, but pretty much 5 to 7. 6 or 7 is going to be your safe bet, anywhere from a 6.5 to a 7.5 size bracelet. If you know you have a little bit bigger wrist, go ahead and you can add that 8th one. We'll also talk about during the bracelet how to end with it or start with something else if you want to end with this little dragonfly piece or start with the RounDuos. To highlight the Monte here in that aqua color, I'm going to be using the Aqua RounDuos in the matted AB. So it's the Aqua Matted AB RounDuos. For this, each little set in between your little dragonflies here, you're going to use 4 of the RounDuos. You're going to be looking at a total of approximately 24 of those RounDuo beads. Again, give or take depending on your wrist size. For the Dragon Eye bracelet, you're also going to be using some 2-hole bricks. The 2-hole brick is a Checkmate product. If you're unfamiliar with it, it is a 2-hole brick shape. So it's kind of like the bar, almost doubled in size, and it's a little bit thicker, works really well as a base. For this, I'm using the Halo Ultramarine, which is a nice kind of navy color. I'm going to play up that navy with some Toho seed beads in 11-0 and 8-0. And we're actually not using that many 8s and 11s. So you can see I just have a little bit left in a tube here. Those are going to be fine. You'll be able to use those, and that'll be enough. I'm using both the 11 and the 8 in that semi-glaze rainbow navy color, that frosted rainbow navy. And that's going to get you that nice coloring, kind of matching that ultramarine color and getting those two colors kind of close together, because really where you're going to be seeing them is right at the connection points. So I wanted those to look kind of all in that little line of navy basically when you're looking at them. We're going to brighten the bracelet with our 15-0s. The 15-0s here that I used in the gold color run the whole course of the bracelet. So they're going to run right along the center of the RounDuos at the very end, along the sides, and then they even work in between the little wings here of our dragonfly. So we're going to be using the 15-0s in the Crystal Labrador, which the Crystal Labrador color is a Miyuki seed bead, but then it is coated in the Czech Republic to get that nice bright silver. So we are using both Toho and Miyuki. Miyuki in the 15 and then Toho in the 11 and the 8. We're going to hold it all together with a cup button, and this is a cup button in the Turquoise Picasso color. And the whole thing is going to be strung on 0.006 wildfire beading thread. And for the colors that I've chosen, I'm going to be using the green thread. I could use the blue thread as well that they have, but I'm going to be using the green just because I have it nice and handy. I am working on my bead on it board here. A nice beading surface is a great tool to work with. And I did forget to mention we're going to be using 2 needles. So I have 2 size 10. You can use 10s, 11s, or 12s for this project, especially if you know that you're using a size 15 that has like a really small hole, something that's coated a lot. You may want to switch down, but 10s are fine for what we're doing. I also have sitting handy usually a thread burner and some super glue glue if you want to do that, as well as a pair of pliers to kind of pinch the end of your thread to start with it. At the very beginning of this bracelet, it is an up and back bracelet. So we're going to go up the line, and then we're going to come back in basically to add in our Montees and our seed beads in the center here. So I kept this one empty so you could see it, and then it kind of filled in here in the center of the bracelet. And just this little sample piece here we'll kind of be referencing to for the different materials that are in this one. To start out, we are going to be using everything but the Montees and the 8/0 seed beads. So you want to make yourself a little pile of everything but the 8/0s and the Montees. You can kind of push them off to the side. And you want about 5 feet of beading thread with a needle on either end. So you want one needle on one end of the thread, one on the other, one piece of thread, about 5 feet. Get ready to get that set up, and we'll get ready to get started with our little piles of beads and go ahead and put on our clasp first and then continue into our bracelet. So again, to get started with our design, I have 2 needles on my 5 feet of beading thread. I have a cup button sitting handy that I'm going to use in order to put on first, and that's going to be my hook and my closure. To get started, if you didn't have a button that you were working with, you would simply put on a wire protector right at this moment, as well as your clasp. I'm going to simply pick up 3 of my 11/0 seed beads, and then take one of my needles through one side of the cup button and the other through the other side. I'm exiting the cup button on the flat side and going in on the dome side. Pull both threads down, making sure that they're equal on either side, kind of holding both needles, and that's just going to decorate the little middle of the cup button. From there, we're going to get started basically into our actual little design. And to get started with that, what we're going to do is we are going to use 2 of our 11/0 seed beads on each needle. Actually, go ahead and put a 3rd. Wait, I'll just be a little bit more comfortable getting it on and off. So 3 seed beads right next to the cup button. Coming out of the cup button, then we're going to actually start our little kind of diamond shape there of our RounDuos. The first RounDuo and the fourth RounDuo, the first and the fourth, are actually going to sit with the holes lining horizontal. The beads on the side, the holes line vertical. To put the first one on, I have my first aqua bead here, and my needle goes from my right out my left here. My left needle is going to go in the left side and out the right. Pull both of my threads, still making sure that I have an equal amount of thread on either side, and that's going to hang out right there, right next to your RounDuo. On the sides of the RounDuo, we're going to add 3 of our 15/0 seed beads on my right needle, and I'm going to go through the top hole, so the second hole of the RounDuo, with my needle going in on the right side and coming out on the left. On the opposite side here, I'm going to pick up 3 of my seed beads, go in from the left, and come out on the right hand side only through the RounDuo. Don't pick up or catch on any of those 15/0 seed beads. Because this is a 2 needle project, pretty much whatever you do on the right hand side, you're also going to do on the left hand side. So we have our needles coming out on either ends out of the second hole of our RounDuo bead without going through any of the seed beads. On the sides then, we're going to go ahead and add an 11/0 seed bead, a RounDuo on each, and for this time it doesn't matter exactly which hole you go through in the RounDuo. So a RounDuo, an 11/0, and then an 11/0 after the RounDuo. And let those all drop down next to your first set of your RounDuo there. For our fourth RounDuo, which is going to sit at the top, we're going to do the same. It's going to be horizontal lines. So I'm taking my RounDuo there, going through the first hole with my needle coming out the left, and my second needle coming out the right. Pull that thread and needle down, and that gives you your first little start there to your first little diamond shape. Just like we did on the first RounDuo here at the base, we're going to put on 3 of our 15/0 seed beads and go from the bottom hole to the top hole, reversing the thread from the side your thread is on to the opposite side. So in this case, from right to left. Put that needle down, pick up the other one, add your 3 beads on, go from that bottom hole on the left to the top hole with your needle coming out on the right hand side. Give a nice little tight pull, and you can see now that center section, basically right here at the top, especially without it filled in the middle, how it's going to look right along the top edge. Once you're done that first little diamond, coming out of it, we're going to add our little wings for our dragonfly here on this dragon eye bracelet. To add the wings, I'm adding one of my 11/0s, and then I'm going to add 2 of my wings, which are going to be my bar or my bricks there, and then another 11/0. That's going to happen on both the right needle, and let that fall, and then also picking up and doing the same thing on the left needle. One thing I should say with any sort of small manufacturing like this, you do want to make sure both for your RounDuos and your bars, or if by any chance you don't have, or I'm sorry, your bricks, if by any chance you don't have any bricks, you could also be using 2 bars kind of doubled up. You just want to make sure that you do have a second hole in each of your beads. You can kind of test and put your needle through, because you don't want to get so far in your project and then find out that you're missing a hole in one of your beads, which because of the nature of the production can happen because the beads are so tiny. Now, after you put on your seed beads here on the side with our 11/0 and then our 2 bricks and then our 11/0, then we go back into the RounDuo. For the RounDuo section, again, we're going to pick up 1 RounDuo with 1 needle going from the right side to the left side, and the next needle going through that same hole the opposite direction. Those are going to crisscross through and come right out. You can see those bricks will kind of just flip-flop until we get in and add the outside edge. When you're on the outside of that first RounDuo, 3 seed beads go on the right needle, which then goes to the left, going through the top hole of that RounDuo, and then 3 seed beads go on the left, which will come out on the right hand side of that RounDuo bead, going through that second hole. Anytime you're crisscrossing through a bead, it also gives you a good opportunity to kind of pull the thread down and get rid of any extra thread that may be showing. After this, we go back into our side beads, adding again an 11/0, 2 bricks, and another 11/0. Again, that goes on the right and both on the left, the right and the left needle. And then from there, after there, right and left, we're going to crisscross. Oops, I'm sorry here. I'm jumping the gun. After we have that last one on, sorry, I'm getting way ahead here, you're going to add on your side RounDuo beads. We have to have that group of 4. I'm getting all excited about my wings. Again, the group of 4 is just the RounDuo on the side with an 11/0 on either side of the RounDuo in that navy color. And then after you have the beads on the side here with just the RounDuos with 11/0s on either side, then we go back and add our 4th RounDuo bead, crisscrossing through the first hole. And then after you crisscross through the first hole here, we're going to go ahead and add our little picot design there, designing the ends out by adding in 3 of our seed beads. Then going from the bottom hole to the top hole of that same RounDuo bead. 1 needle is going from one side to the other, and then the other one switches. So the most important thing to remember in this baseline is that the first round duo and the fourth round duo that you add are both that horizontal, the holes are going horizontal, whereas the round duos on the side, the holes go vertical. Now, after you have your set of 4 in, that's when you get to go ahead and add in your wings again for your dragonfly, adding in the 11-0 seed bead, 2 of your bricks, 11-0 seed bead. Once you have that on the right needle, again, put it on the left needle, and then just continue on with this same pattern, crisscrossing through the round duo at the bottom and the top and adding the round duos on the side. Once you're done the base of the bracelet, you're done adding all of your bricks here. And just to let you know, again, I said about 7 groupings of your round duos and then about 6 groupings of your little dragons here, or your dragonflies here. If you need something to be a little bit bigger, you can see kind of how this fits on me. It's going to be a little bit big on me, and the ends are going to come together a little bit closer than they really would. In that case, if you have a smaller wrist, what you can actually do is just start the bracelet with 1 round duo on each side and not go into actually that first triangle or that first diamond shape. So I had said at the beginning of the video I would explain kind of how to do more or less. Also, if you would rather have more of your little dragonflies, you can also start that way as well. That may mean that you need 1 more full set of dragonflies if you do have a little bit bigger of a wrist. So again, I have 6 sections of my bricks here, and then 7 sections of my round duo. When you finish, you're going to need to make the loop for your cup button to fit inside of. To make the loop, I'm coming out of my last round duo bead here, and I've already added the little picot trim. I'm going to be using my 15-0 seed beads to do the loop for my cup button. You can use the 11s, the 15s, or even the 8s if you want. I'm going to use just 1 8. The 8s, even though they are the same color, you can see there's a fair amount of difference in size, so you won't have trouble distinguishing between the 8 and the 11. Just like we did at the start here, I'm going to add 2 of my 11-0 seed beads onto my right needle, and then 2 of my 11-0 seed beads onto the left needle. After that, I'm going to have my needles come together and go through an 8-0 seed bead. And again, I'm using that same rainbow navy color, that semi-glazed. And that's going to bring that to a point. From here, with either your right needle or your left needle, it doesn't matter which one, you're going to go ahead and pick up a bunch of your 15-0 seed beads to make your loop. Once you have a bunch of 15-0s on, you're going to want to test and make sure that it fits around whatever button you're using. Again, if you're not using a button clasp and you're not making a loop for a button, here's where you would add in your wire guard and your toggle or your lobster clasp or your magnet. So whatever you're working with, that's what you would add here. Once you have enough seed beads on for your loop, you're going to take the same needle that you have in your hand and come down through that same 8-0 seed bead and out the 11s. With the second needle, I'm going to go through those 11-0s that I just put on, going through the opposite way, reinforcing that loop, putting 2 strands of thread through the entire loop. And again, this would be the same thing if you had a wire guard or a wire protector on. You'd take your needle and thread through in the opposite direction. Once you're through the loop, you're going to go through that 8-0 seed bead and then down through the 2 11-0s down through the 2 11-0 seed beads that you have going on here, coming out on the opposite side. Give a nice little tight pull, and that will get rid of any extra little slack that you might see. Again, you may want to use this opportunity to test and make sure that your loop is going to go through your button. After that, we're going to come down the sides of our project, going into the second hole of the RounDuos, as well as catching the second hole of our bricks here. To get through to this first section, what we're going to do is we're going to add one of our 11-0 seed beads here, and basically we're getting from the outer section in towards this outer edge here. So 1 11-0 and 5 15-0s. I'm going to sew into the second hole of the RounDuo, add 5 more 15-0 seed beads, and I'm going to circle back through that same RounDuo bead, starting at the top and going towards the bottom. What that's going to do is push those seed beads right along the outer edge and just kind of decorate them a little bit. When I'm on the sides here, we're going to be adding in the beads for our wings. There's actually only 3 15-0 seed beads that we're going to add, and then 1 11-0 seed bead. Go into your brick there, and it's going to pull it on an angle. That angle is the way that we achieve that kind of wings flying section. Again, pour out a couple more of your 8-0 seed beads here. Add a 15, an 8-0, and a 15 onto your needle, and then go into the second one of your bricks. You can see it separates it out a little bit there. After the brick, on goes 1 11-0 and 3 15-0s. Sew through the next RounDuo bead. On the side of the RounDuo, add 5 more of your 15-0s. Circle back through that same RounDuo, going in from the top and out towards the bottom. And that's going to put that little trim on the edge. Again, 3 seed beads of your 15s, 1 11, and into your brick. When you're inside between the brick, on goes a 15, an 8, and a 15, and you sew into the second brick. After I do this on the right hand side, I'm also going to do the left hand side. And I usually do it in groupings, that I'll do a couple on the right hand side here, and now I'll bounce over and do the same thing on the left hand side. On the left hand side again, just to get back to that first one, you're going to be using 1 11-0 and then 5 of your 15-0s. Once you have those on your thread and needle, go through that second hole of the left RounDuo bead, and then you're going to add your 5 beads and come back down, circling down the RounDuo. Same thing goes the whole length of the bracelet, adding in those 15-0s on the sides and then connecting and spreading out the wings with the 15 and the 8 as well. So I've come down the whole project, adding in my 15-0s and the 8-0s there on the sides, with the 11s coming out of basically each of my little bricks there. And what I'm going to do is show you how to get from the end here, reinforce the clasp, and then we're going to go back and add some more 15s, and finally our Montees. To get from the outer edge here back to the beginning, it's going to be just like we did on the beginning side, or the start side, where we do 5 of our 15-0 seed beads, then 1 11-0 seed bead, and then I'm going to sew into the cup button and reinforce it. When I'm sewing through the cup button, at the same time that I'm sewing through the button, I'm going to sew through the 3 beads leading up to it, through the button, and through the seed beads that are at the top of the button. Down to the other side, and exit the 3 seed beads. Now with my left needle, I get to do the exact same thing. So I'm coming out of my last RounDuo here, and I've gone ahead and added my 15 O's, my 5 on the side. I'm going to add 5 more 15s, 1 11, and then so up through those 3 on the left-hand side, up through the first bead in the cup button, through the beads at the top of the cup button, and down the 3 beads on the other side. At this point, I'm going to give a little tight pull, and that's going to get rid of any extra thread that you may have exposed. This is going to be the last time that we're here at this button end, but that's fine because we have 3 strands going through that button end. What we want to do now is we're going to decorate the middle here with our inner edge of our round trio beads, and then we're also going to be adding the Montees. To get to that start point, we need to be coming basically always out of the 11 O's. So the 11 O's are always our starting point where we come in and out of our thread. The thread here on the side is coming out those 3 beads. I'm going to go through the first hole of the RounDuo from the right to the left with the needle that's on the right hand side, and then down that same RounDuo bead back to the right side, going through the second hole. Once I'm exiting the second hole, I'm also going to go through the 11 O right after it. So my thread's coming out right after that 11 O. On the left hand side, you'll get to see that again in action. I'm going to go through the first hole of the RounDuo, which pops me out on the opposite side, through the second hole of the RounDuo, which pops me out back to the left side there, through my 11 O seed bead, and I exit right along the middle. So from now on, I'm only going to be going through those 11 O seed beads that are between the openings, basically. Once I'm between the 11 O, or I'm out the 11 O seed beads near the actual O bead, or near the RounDuo here, I'm going to add 3 of my 15 O's, and then sew through the next of my 11s on the same side, and then come out. That's going to put those 3 11s right there in the middle. On the other side, repeat, adding those 3 11s, and then sew through the next 11 in line. If you want to, you could also use an 11 O in the middle instead of the 15s. So when you're looking at it here, let me pull those threads tight, rather than having the 11 O's just kind of going and curving in the middle, or the 15 O's rather, I'm sorry, curving in the middle, you could have one 11 O in the middle, or even like a mini duo bead that's going to link those 2 in the middle. I always like to give kind of alternatives to what you're working on. After you're out the 11 O bead here on the side, you're going to go through the 3 15s on the outer edge of the RounDuo as we work down towards the loop. Through the 11 then, before the brick. So again, we added those 3 15s on the right side. We're going through that next 11 O seed, or those 3 15 O seed beads, through the 11 O seed bead, and out. So basically kind of running your thread and needle right along that inner line. That's also going to pull those 15 O's into more of a curve, which is what we want in between those RounDuos. When I'm out the 11 O's right near the bars here, or the bricks rather, sorry, I'm going to add a 15 O to my needle. On the right hand side, my Montee in that SS20, and another 15 O. The Montees, if you're unfamiliar with them, they have a cross back. And we want to make sure that the Montee is laying up. For the first one, it actually doesn't matter when you're doing your first needle, but the second one, you want to make sure that they're all facing in the same direction. Just like I did when I was adding the 3 seed beads, we're going to go through the 11 O then. And because the Montee sits on a cross section. My thread and needle are coming out the right hand side, right out of that RounDuo. I put on my 15, my Monte, my 15, and then I'm going to go through the left hand side 11-0 seed bead right after that brick and out. Once I make sure that that Monte's sitting up the exact way that I want it to, the left hand needle, I'm going to pick up 1 15-0, sew through that corner of the Monte, which I know is on that cross section. If you want to, you can also flip it over to make sure that you are sewing through the correct area where the hole is. You'll sew through the Monte and come out the opposite corner. So this one started on the left, I added a 15, sewed through the Monte, which brought it out on the right hand side, add another 15-0 seed bead, and then pick up the 11-0 on the right side. Give a nice little tug and it'll sit right in the middle of those two little wings. Again, you're going to sew down through the 15-0s that are already there on the side, both on the right and the left. After the 15-0s, also sew through the 11-0 that's there. And once out, the 11-0 that's there, 3 more 15s get added. And sew through the 11-0 after the RounDuo. After sewing through that 15-0 after the RounDuo, you're going to continue with that same pattern, adding in the Montes in between, and then continue sewing right down and basically creating that zigzag or that snaking line of the 15-0s, adding the 3. I put 4 on there, so I'll have to take one off. 3 in the middle, and then going down the sidelines and adding your Monte in. So you're going to continue the whole line here, adding your 3 seed beads and then your Monte. 3 seed beads, Monte, snaking right along that inner line. Once you're done adding in all the crystals and all of the seed beads, you can kind of see that fun snaking pattern that's going on. And I did want to bring the example piece just to show the difference in the colors. In hindsight, I think I should have picked actually a different color Monte, probably a crystal AB Monte to stand out a little bit more against that aqua AB here, because the colors really match a lot. Showing you an example here, you can see the darker RounDuo versus a brighter Monte to kind of separate it out a little bit. But once you're done the ending here, you have your 2 threads coming out the last of the 11-0 seed beads. If you want to, you can reinforce the loop that you've made. That's up to you. The loop itself already has 2 threads going through it. If you want to do a third, you can. You just go up through and snake back through the RounDuo and back through. I'm simply going to take my thread and needle, my one on the left, through that base hole of the last RounDuo, which will mean that the threads are right next to each other. Take the needles off your thread and simply tie those 2 threads together in a square knot, left over right, right over left. If you want to, you can even turn the project over, forcing the threads towards the back, so that way the threads are in the back. To do so, you'll just literally push those threads behind that loop there and pull it to the back. Once you're done tying the knots then, and if it is on the back side here, you can grab your thread burner. I'm going to tie one more knot after bringing it to the back here. Grab my thread burner, burn down the one end, leaving just a little bit of a tail, and then burn down the other end as well. After I burn down the ends, you can see just that little bit of thread kind of sticking up there. If you burn down and just touch from the end of the tail and kind of burn in, it's going to create a little balled end that will keep that thread from untying that knot that you just created. Then, nice and simple, you're done the project. I would say having a thread burner, in my mind, for all the stuff that I do is really essential, so that's kind of up to you. Again, if you need any of the materials, whether or not you want to do kind of off colors, same colors, really kind of change it up, you could do different colors of the dragonflies as well for this dragon eye bracelet. You can really have fun with it. Again, if you don't have the 2-hole bricks, I like to throw some variation in there. You could try it with 2 bars together. You could try it with super duos. It just is, anytime that you're going to change the beads that you're using, going to change the spacing, so you may have to play around with it a little bit to get it perfect and to get it to lay nicely. That's one thing that a lot of the bracelets look nice and simple, but they take a while to get the different spacing, making sure that it looks nice and that it doesn't have a curve to it or a roll to it, and that it all kind of lays perfectly together. Again, if you need any of the materials for this dragon eye bracelet, you can go back to the beginning of the video. There's a little drop down on the left hand side, which will give you links to the Montees and the bricks and the RounDuos and all the seed beads if you need those as well. You can always shop with us online at PotomacBeads.com. If you like this video, you want to get regular updates on some of the different designs that we do, all the different products we carry when we launch them, some exciting news coming up, anything like that, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel, which will give you those regular updates when we put videos out there for you to view. You can also stay connected with us on Facebook and also join our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making. Interact with other people there that do all kinds of great, wonderful bead weaving techniques and wire working, and just really have a great passion for the craft. Share with them the things that you make, help answer questions, help them make decisions, name things. It really is a great forum and a great area to stay connected with us and to other people as well. As always, have fun creating and really making it your own. I love seeing what you guys do, taking the designs that I give and really using them as an inspiration and kind of a diving board to really spring off and do your own thing. So thanks so much for watching, everyone, and have fun making this dragon eye bracelet.